So, Lisa, if you don't mind, let's start off with the Mag 7. What does it say about the market that we're seeing the Mag 7 week to date? I know it's only a couple days into the week, but the Mag 7 up over 0.5%, but the rest of the market's actually down just about 1%. What is that telling us about investor sentiment right now?
Well, listen, I think even though AI has obviously buoyed the market for a couple of years now, and those stocks in particular, the reality is it's still just the tip of the spear in terms of the AI story. So, the focus for AI for a good while now has really been on compute. But I think what you're going to be hearing so much more is about AI new capabilities and really use cases and business models around those use cases. We're going to be hearing a lot more about agentic AI, how different companies can get workforce multiplication from deployment of AI. And I also think you're going to be hearing about AI use cases in things like autonomous vehicles. So there are so many different markets that AI can touch. Not surprised to see that that's continuing to push things forward.
Right. When it comes to AI, you're also looking at the valuation piece of it. Talking quite a bit about valuations here on CNBC. I was actually very fortunate enough to talk to John Rogers from Ariel Investments. He says the market's pretty pricey right now. The S&P trading at about 23 times forward earnings. In your mind, how does this AI trade, how does it impact the valuation of the market and also the trades that we're going to see going forward and what a lot of people feel is a kind of a frothy market?
It is frothy, and listen, we do expect to also see, continued investment in AI. We expect to see another, $1 trillion deployed in AI over the next few years. So there's no question that those valuations are, unprecedented. But I also think that we're talking about technologies that are unprecedented, and economic impacts that they can have that are really of an order of magnitude that we've never seen before in terms of some of the cost saves that they can offer for companies. So I think that we're in an era of new paradigm to some extent, and I'm not sure that the old playbooks really apply when it comes to AI in particular.
All right, speaking of new, you actually just released your 2025 themes, kind of a new report, really expansive, a really interesting read, Lisa. I want to get to one of those themes. One of them is U.S. politics with emerging unpredictability. Exactly what does that mean for investors?
Well, I think it just means that things are going to move a lot. There's going to be a lot of headline noise, and I think that has the potential to whipsaw investors. But we also think that there are a lot of themes that are kind of enduring, and principles and dynamics that are enduring within that. So if you keep focus and don't allow yourself to be whipsawed by those, I think that investors can have a steady hand, even though there's going to be a lot of different headlines, as we've seen even in your lead-ins. But I think we know that we're going to be in an era of tariffs in a new administration. And so I think we just need to be hard-headed in trying to understand exactly how those are going to impact. But I think also not to be overreactive. There tend to be a lot of quick reactions around U.S. politics in particular, and then, those spread over globally. But I think that what we do find is if you really, really try to stay true to fundamentals, there's going to be a lot to do, as you have said in some of the lead-in this morning. Go ahead,
but
please.
Lisa, to your point, these are proposals, so we can't overreact. We don't know what's actually going to happen, at least not until January 20th. I want to get to one other theme that you're looking at, which are shifts in consumer spending. We often talk about how it's the consumer that's propping up the economy and in some ways propping up the market. What shifts are you seeing, and how should investors play those shifts?
Sure. Well, I think the most interesting one that we are seeing is that the so-called silver tsunami, right? So you do have an aging population. The 65 plus population is going to be almost a quarter of the population by 2050. And there are a lot of different things that, that come with that. So as people get older, and this is a part of the population that commands also a tremendous amount of wealth in the country, I do think that those preferences and those shifts are going to manifest. Things like people are showing a strong preference for aging at home. So, home renovation trends and things like that to help people prepare for longevity in the home. I think you're also looking at things, even things coffee. We expect the coffee market to actually grow tremendously because, as it turns out, people drink a lot more coffee as they age, which might might explain why I always feel tired but can never sleep. But so there are a lot of things, big and small, that come from that, and also, certainly the birth rate is a factor as well. We see that in things like increased pet spend. We think that market's going to grow
Okay.
tremendously. So it presents in so many different ways.